Well, Trump and Musk are looking to slash government spending by a ton, with Musk estimating he could cut perhaps $2 trillion from the federal budget. We have former National Economic Council Director Jason Furman with us now. Jason, before we talk about whether he can cut $2 trillion, what do you make of last night? And will the Democratic Party track more towards the center now?
You know, I'm still trying to sort through what's happening. And by the way, Charlie referred to a text he got. I'd invite him to come here to Harvard. My class was full this morning. Attendance in that class is optional because it's recorded. The students were perfectly cheerful. They were excited to learn. Not a bunch of snowflakes here at Harvard. But let's go back. Yeah, certainly I think there was too much inflation. I think some of that inflation was caused by Biden. Immigration, they weren't tough enough on, even though I love immigration from a policy perspective. We need to have a path for it to be legal. Yes. A path for it to be legal, exactly. And you know, but there's going to be a lot of lessons from it. But I certainly think that's one, and that's what the Democrats need to do. It's not sort of start the resistance. It is start figuring out what you can do better.
And what they did wrong. Jason, now on the subject of whether or not Donald Trump and Elon Musk and others working together in the new administration could cut as much as $2 trillion from the budget. Now, we should mention that with all these spending bills, a lot of which had support from the Republicans, we should mention, but all these spending bills in the last 4 years have goosed up the baseline of the budget by about $2 trillion. Can you cut that $2 trillion out?
Yeah, so first of all, let's just understand, when the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget totaled up what Donald Trump was proposing, it was more than $7.5 trillion of tax cuts and other stuff. And by the way, that's net of huge amounts of tariff revenue. So even if Elon Musk hit this $2 trillion goal, you'd still have a very large increase in the deficit. Let me talk
to you about that, Jason. With regard to the tax cuts, you say spend the money. In fact, after the 2017 new tax code was put in place, the next 5 years we had a 48% increase in tax revenue. It didn't cost, it made money because there was more economic activity. I know you're not a big fan of supply side, but there did seem to be a supply side effect here, no?
There was an economist who once said there's nothing wrong with supply-side economics that can't be solved by dividing by 10. Of course, lower taxes give people more incentives. They just don't give them enough incentives that you're going to end up raising tax revenue. The only reason tax revenue went up,
we raised 48% in 5 years.
They were nominal dollars. Of course it went up. There was a ton of inflation. But if you look at the share of the economy in taxes, that went down.
By the way, there wasn't a ton of inflation between 2017 and 2022. There wasn't at that point.
Moreover, read the Wall Street Journal editorial page. The tax cuts we're talking about now, tax-free tips, tax-free overtime, tax-free Social Security benefits, I don't know any economist of any political stripe that thinks those are a pro-growth measure, let alone
even on overtime pay.
They're not talking about corporate tax reform anymore. They're talking about a giveaway to every state he flew to.
There is one economist, by the way, whose name is Art Laffer, who thinks that the no tax on overtime is going to be a very pro-growth incentive.
Yeah, there's also this issue of how you administer it. People can lie about their hours, pretend they worked more hours, got less per hour, and save a whole bunch of money. So, boy, are you asking for a massive mess if that's what you're trying to do. But look, the only way we've cut spending in this country on entitlements is bipartisan. Republicans have never, ever been able to do it on their own. So if they want to, sit down, go to the Democrats, say we'd love to save Social Security, we'd love to save Medicare, let's work together on it. I'm not optimistic that'll happen, but that is the only path forward if you want to meaningfully cut spending.
If you were working for Donald Trump, I know it's a stretch, but if you were working for Donald Trump trying to get Democrats on board in serious cost cutting, who would you go to and what would you suggest they cut that they could sign off on?
Look, there's not a lot of mood for cooperation among Democrats right now. I don't blame them for that. You'd have to really say, I'm willing to compromise and do what we've done in this country before, which is I am willing to raise taxes and cut spending, and we're going to do one, we're going to do the other, we're going to do them together. And that type of grand bargain, again, I do not see that happening where the political system is right now, But that's what we've done in governments around the world, conservative ones and liberal ones. We've done it here in the past. I think it's the only way out of this problem right now. Elon Musk is not going to solve this on his own. I promise you that.
Okay, well, I'm going to write it down. We have it on tape. You promise us that. We'll see whether he's successful or not. Jason, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And say hello to your classroom. That's a very interesting designation of who you have as your students now. There's a variety of thought in America, and that's one thing that we certainly learned last night. Good to see you, Jason. Appreciate you being here.
Good to see you.